Hey Karen, how you doing? All right, let's go and take a look. So, yeah, I was reading your writing. Everything is making really good sense here. Thank you so much for including this wonderful written rationale. It really tells me a lot about how you're approaching and what you're learning. So I really appreciate that. In your last paragraph here, I found this to be interesting, and you're right. I mean, it's you never submit an assignment and that's it. You're always going to get feedback, and this translates to a real world design studio situation in that you're given a project and you're working on a project and you're always going to get feedback many different times throughout the design process. So you're never ever practicing in a vacuum. A lot of times freelance designers end up finding themselves practicing alone, and that's something as a designer I try to avoid at all costs. I'll do anything I can to get more eyes. If I'm working a project completely alone, I get out there and I get as many eyes on that project as I possibly can, from colleagues, from non-designers, from family, from friends. Hey man, take a look at this. Tell me exactly what you think. And you can really get some fantastic feedback doing that. So that was interesting. Thanks for including that. Let's go ahead and jump over to, I've got the ad up right here. I think it's a good start. I really do. I think there's a couple of things we can do that really increase the page harmony. Um, and the whole visual cohesiveness of the ad itself. Right now, there's two areas where I just keep on bouncing. My eye keeps bouncing back and forth. It's really difficult to look away from this because it's so much bigger than everything on the page. And I know that you wanted to increase the scale of that, and there's a conceptual reason for that. And that's great. I understand the conceptual reason. A lot of times your execution, you have to take a look at your concept, look at the execution and say, okay, is this working? In this particular case, the concept is good. Yes, you want number one hierarchy to be on the headline. That's okay. But this is so big right now that it's actually impeding the viewer from looking elsewhere on the ad. One of the things that ends up happening is this is the biggest thing on the page. This is the second biggest thing. And the fact that this has this box behind it, it just kind of creates this ping pong effect where we're looking at the headline, then we're looking over here, and then we're looking back at the headline and looking back over here. So I think we can improve the visual cohesiveness of the page by doing a couple of things. The first thing I would recommend, I would mask this image out right at the mountains, mask out that sky and put a new sky in there with clear blue skies. I mean, not a cloud in the sky. I used to work for a company that did contracting for a Mexican resort. And I was in a design meeting once, and one of my colleagues had brought some images for the client to look at. And one of the images had a cloudy sky, and the representatives from the resort are like, get that out of here. The last thing they want to see is clouds in the sky, because they're presenting their resort. You don't want to present your resort if you're in the Caribbean with clouds. Now, not to say it doesn't get cloudy in the Caribbean, it does, but certainly as we picture ourselves in a situation where we would imagine ourselves in this setting, we certainly wouldn't want to imagine ourselves with a cloudy sky. I hope that makes sense. Easy fix, just mask that right out and slip a new sky in there. All right, as far as page mechanics go, I think you're really super text heavy in here, really text heavy. I would condense this somehow. Try to get that text worked down a little bit. The other thing is see if you can try to fit away. Now, if we take a look at the examples in the course announcements, and where the heck am I in my course announcements? Let me see, where did I put those? Well, let me tell you what. Oh, here we are, right here. Yes. All right. So if you notice in the course announcements, we have all of the type is incorporated right into the composition. And I think that makes for visual harmony. And there's no separation from the type and the image. Now, subconsciously, that creates a separation. Okay, so there's not this heavy conceptual tie between the text and the ad itself if you've got it in this box. And a lot of times student designers want to place things in boxes instead of trying to work out the typography in a way that it could be visually pleasing as well as readable. My recommendation is to get this type out of the box and to incorporate it with the image itself, which will be a heck of a lot easier to do if you replace that sky with a blue sky. So recommendations. Well, I'll tell you what. Right now, I think we're really cluttered at the bottom of the page. We got a lot of things going on. If you look at the bottom of the page, there's a separate composition. We're doing a lot of ping ponging. Eyes going back and forth from here to yellow. Then we come down here and we go back and forth here. Then we come here and kind of go like this. So what I think it's just a little too cluttered down here. What I would recommend doing is this. I would take this. I would add this access to dining spot, somehow add it to this type here, okay? I would just take this logo, place it right down here. That contact information, let's go up top, right across. Span the top, use that color, and just, it doesn't have to be any bigger than that. Just place it right across the top of the ad there. That'll really open up this bottom area. Then, if you replace the sky, just reduce this whole new experience a little bit. Something like this, okay? Then, come over and set your subhead and then set up your body copy without the semi-transparent box, if that is possible. Yeah, definitely. You're going to see a huge difference once you get that type incorporated with the image itself. Now, it may entail working a different background image, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I think it's more important at this point as a designer, and I'm thinking about more towards your student portfolio. It's more important at this point to be able to incorporate type with image than to use this image and have to place the type on top of the image. A lot of designers and portfolio reviewers and potential hiring professionals are going to look at type placed on a box, and they're just going to simply say to themselves, okay, this designer couldn't figure out how to incorporate the type with the image, so they placed it on a box. I see it all the time, and I do a lot of portfolio reviews, several hundred a year. So it's definitely something that it would be a very much advantageous for you to work this type in with the background. All right, hey, listen, if you're working, I'm here. So if you're working, I'm working. If there's anything you want to run by me, if you make further changes or corrections or iterations, run them by me. Let me know. I'll be glad to give you further critique. All right, great start. Thank you very much.